Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Frank, and I have a pretty cool video for you guys today. Today's video, and subsequently the prop I'm going to be building in this video, is sponsored by the game Ninja Must Die. But before we continue, I want to try to make this video just a little bit different than normal sponsored videos, and I really hope they're okay with this approach because I think it's going to be more interesting to you guys. Not only are we going to be building this awesome prop from the game, believe me when I tell you, this paint job pushed me to my limit, but I think I nailed it pretty good. I also want to take you guys through the process of what it's like to kind of make a video like this. Like, I don't want to just throw the game at you guys. I want to explain to you why I picked this game, why I said yes to their offer, and kind of how that back and forth conversation goes. And then obviously we're going to talk about the game because I wouldn't have made this video if I didn't like the game. So whether you want to learn more about the 3D printed prop and how I got this awesome paint job, or you want to learn more about the game or how videos like this are made, stay tuned because this video's got it all. Okay, so how do videos like this even really start? Do I reach out to them? Do they reach out to me? Is there like a Walmart where you go walking around getting sponsored brand deals? Well, yes to actually all of it. In this case, it started with an email from Ninja Must Die. They reached out to me and they were like, hey, you make some really cool stuff. We make a really cool game. We should work together. And what's great about mobile games like this is a free to download game. And this isn't like part of the pitch or the plug. It was a free game. So I was able to download it and play it and try it out before anything was agreed to. And I'll tell you what, guys, I loved it. It was such a fun game to sit there and play. It's a really awesome side-scroller ninja jumping game. It's animated beautifully, and it has so many different props and like, whoop, there's a bounty invite, literally while I'm filming this. No, I can't do this right now, dude. All of that's to say is that I actually liked the game. I didn't just play it for like a couple minutes and then put it down on the desk and say, okay, whatever. I've actually been playing it for like the entire time of making this video. So once I had said yes to the collaboration and the sponsorship, what happens next? So after some emails back and forth, some handshaking, and a good photo of the prop so I can get it 3D modeled, we were off to the races. Now with these types of things, there's deadlines and timelines and back and forths and drafts and all of that. But basically I sent the model off to my buddy Walsh 3D to get it modeled ASAP. So let's go back in time a little bit to past Frank, who just got his hands on the 3D model so we can start building this thing. Okay, so here is Lay 3D model delivered by one Walsh 3D. And very, very simple model. He said he had a lot of fun modeling this magical conch shell and the spikes and then the handle. So I'm very happy with this. This is gonna be very super easy to print. Unfortunately, a lot of my big printers are currently tied up. So the biggest printer I have available is my FL Sun V400. So that's what we're gonna use in this instance. I pretty much scaled it up as big as this printer could print because I don't have real good reference on the size of this thing since the characters in the game are, you know, they're cartoon characters. So I'm just gonna print it as big as possible on the V400, probably at a low infill because it needs to be a light prop. And then whatever percentage this is, so we're probably gonna go with 150%. That's what I'm gonna scale everything else up to, like the rest of the, you know, the handle and the spikes, everything will be scaled up uniformly. This way I can get it printed. So let's slice this and see what it looks like. Just over a day to print this behemoth. That's not bad, less than a roll of filament. I might block out these little extra bits along the side, but this thing is gonna be nice and sturdy. So let's get this on an SD card. Let's get the other things sliced and we'll get to printing this thing. All right, so let's get into the new workshop and get these on the printer. What are you doing? Oh, yeah, I realized how behind schedule you were 2 days ago, so I printed everything. Oh, did you print it? All of it? Yeah, all of it. It's all done. Thanks. Wow, thank you. Did you film any of it? Dude, I'm you. Do we ever film it? Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so we have the parts. Let's get them assembled so we can start sanding and smoothing and priming and getting this thing ready for paint. I am very happy with the print quality. Luckily, past me put it on a very good setting. This was printed on my FL Sun V400. That printer is a absolute monster. This was like a 20-hour print, and it's pretty sturdy. The handle printed on my CR10 Max. And as far as assembly goes, it's gonna sit in it like that. So we're gonna get this welded and glued together. There is a very small channel for a metal rod. I'm really not worried about that. It's gonna be strong enough without it. But I do wanna get all these little bobs and bits and doohickeys and spikes, you know, welded and permanently affixed to the print. And yeah, we'll get to assembling it, and eventually there'll be a thing here that we can start painting. Okay, cool. We got some primer on. It needs a little bit more sanding and cleanup here, but it's looking pretty good. Man, I am in a rush, so we're gonna go through this as quick as possible. There are spots I'm not really gonna care about because they're also getting blasted with like gloss white and flat white and bone white and shell white, or whatever the heck you want to call it. And it's a seashell. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly glass smooth. There are imperfections and calcium deposits and buildups and whatever seashells are made out of. But there are some spots on the top here that I'm going to fill with some Bondo spot putty. Don't mind the bottle. I cut a hole in it, so that's why it's taped up. So I just don't have time to let the primer sit here and bubble up and fill. So I'm just going to fill some of this up, sand it, and then we're going to move on to spraying the entire thing gloss or flat white or just whatever white I have upstairs, and then we're going to try to tape it off and make this complex pattern structure. And I have no idea how I'm going to make a gradient out of it, but I got a lot of different cans of blue. Here, let me show you the blue. It's a lot of blue. This is for the spike and the star that's printing right now. I forgot to print the star, so that's printing right now. I can get a time lapse of that. Hold on. And then we have all the blues. I got a couple different ones, and we're gonna try to mist and dust a gradient on it. I've done it before with the jaw blade on, yeah, I made it look pretty good. So we're gonna try something like that, where if I angle it the right way and spray it and have fun, I'll be able to kind of make it like a gradient pattern, because I just don't have time to mess with my airbrush. So I'm really not gonna worry about that right now, but we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna get this figured out. We're gonna press on, we're gonna do some spot putty, we're gonna sand it, we're gonna fill it, we're gonna press on. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna apologize for the audio a little bit. I have some fans running in here and there's some printers going, and yeah, don't worry about it. What's great about this Bondo spot putty is if you spread it on smooth enough and you kind of like use like a rubber glove and kind of rub it around, it dries almost instantly. Like this is all dry. Like I haven't cut, I haven't done anything. I just got done smoothing it on. It's when you build it up really thick, it'll start to shrink and it doesn't dry as quickly. Like it dries as quickly as you put it on, so I can go right upstairs and start sanding this. Didn't need to do anything fancy with it. Yeah, so let's go get this smoothed out and hit it with some white. Okay, so while we're letting the paint dry upstairs on the shell itself, we have the stick of destiny here. We have the stick part. And it's still a little tacky, but I'm drying it by touching it and getting dust all over it. That's fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the handle. Now he modeled it in one piece. That's fine. This is the only part that needs to stay white. This part and this part are blue, and I've used different types of tapes as wraps. But I kind of like electrical tape for handle wraps, and I think this will look pretty good. So I found some blue electrical tape. I also have some blue duct tape, but I don't know how I feel about the texture of this, and the electrical tape stretches more. So we're gonna use this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wrap the handle. We're gonna see how it looks. Honestly, not bad. That did exactly what I wanted it to do. Let's do the bottom part now. I really like that. What's nice about using electrical tape is the more you tug and pull on it, it'll actually discolor it a little bit. So you can leave it like loose and keep it a darker color, but in some spots where I really tightened it up, it turned almost white from the elasticity, from the stretch. And I'm glad I left some wrinkles in it, so it looks a little bit more like fabric. But yeah, we're done with the handle. Just need to wait for the white to dry upstairs, and then we can start taping that ridiculous pattern onto it, and hopefully that comes out good. Okay, so that was stupid. You know how I said before, oh yeah, I'm printing that star now, let me get a time lapse of that? Well, I totally forgot about that, and the time it took me to go upstairs, sand the shell, come back down here, wrap the handle, just got done with that. The star, it finished. The P1P is a really good printer. Ooh, it's still warm. Cool. So there's the star we need. It's very low poly because it was a file I found real fast, but it's a starfish. And what I'm gonna do is sand this down and get it smooth. Probably gonna use some spot putty, but.
No, this is Patrick.
Okay, here we are. I glued the handle in earlier today because I wanted to let it dry. It's literally just a buttload of super glue. stuffed all the way up in there, and then the handle is holding. It's on there pretty good. I'm not too worried about it coming off. I wouldn't hold it here because there's no metal rods or anything for support. But I need to get that weird paint job on it, and that's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be really tricky. Oh, also I painted the cap thing, so it's starting to look like it, right? Like, look at it, look at it. I'm actually pretty proud about how quickly this is coming together. But it's different layers of blue. It's different leveling of blues, a gradient. There's a swirl pattern. So what I think I'm gonna have to do is mask off. I'm gonna have to mask it off, paint those blue stripes near the top, take everything off, and then mask the other pattern over top of that. Because then as I spray that pattern, right? As I spray that pattern, it'll build up over the blue stripes. Oh, this is gonna be tricky. I think I need to start masking some stuff, and hopefully the tape doesn't take the paint off. I'm also worried about that. It's still a little tacky, but I think we'll manage. I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this. Okay, that was, without a doubt, the hardest thing I have ever had to mask off in my entire life. I think it's done. Don't mind the glove at the bottom. I mimicked the picture to the best of my abilities. This is a very complex pattern. You can see it right in here. The goal, the hope for this is, now I'm gonna spray all of this blue. I'm gonna use this darker blue here, and the lines are gonna be solid, you know, full color blue, dark blue, macaw blue. And then I'm gonna spray it a little bit lighter as I move down the pattern. Then I'm gonna take all of this 3 hours of masking off, I'm gonna peel it all off, and then we'll be left with the blue pattern. I hope. Oh my God, do I hope. Then I'm going to go over it with this lighter blue, and this is gonna be my gradient. I'm gonna do the top of the shell pretty much in this entire color, but since this is lighter than the dark blue, it shouldn't make this dark blue disappear. It might make it a little darker, but it'll still be there underneath it. Kind of like how I did that nanotech pattern on my Mark 85 helmets. And then I'll do the whole top blue, and then I'm gonna mist at an angle and start spraying down the shell to give it that gradient pattern, like what I did on my Jawblade sword thing here. I am hoping it works, because I do not have time to strip this all down, repaint it, and mask that all again. I don't know what I'm gonna do if this doesn't work, honestly. Oh my God, this needs to work. So that was like unnecessarily stressful. You know what's a good thing to do in a time like this when you're stressed? Play a game. And man, do I have a game for you guys. Have you guys heard of Ninja Must Die? You must have by this point. So this is arguably the most important part of the video. It's where I talk about the game. It's where I convince you guys to try to download the game and play it out, and you know what the benefits are, or if there's any world or lore or, you know, storytelling that needs to be involved with it. Now, sometimes you'll get very little information from a brand who just wants you to talk about the game, and they don't really give you anything to work with. Other times you get an abundance of information. In this case, Ninja Must Die gave me a lot. And honestly, that's the type of stuff you want to see. They care about the in-game lore. They care about the world building. A great example of this is the OCEANORACLE itself. They even gave it its own backstory. A relic left by the ancient god of the sea in the depths of the ocean. It is said that its voice can summon all underwater creatures. The weapon itself is pretty OP. It can be used in both arena and race mode. It does a great amount of damage, and it has an awesome skill called tide calling, where it summons a bunch of deep sea fish, and eventually after upgrading, it can even summon sharks. And it's not just this in-game weapon they do it for literally every weapon in the game. And I'm hoping if this video goes over smooth enough, they'll let me build other props from the game, because man, there are some amazing sick swords in this game, and I want to build them. The game doesn't just have like one story mode. It has different story modes depending on the characters. It has an arena mode, it has a race mode, it has three player versus 3 player modes. Like, there are so many different options in the game. You can make a clan, you can talk to friends. Like, it's a good game. The main plot of the game focuses around you being a ninja, and you're fighting a bunch of samurai, but while you're also fighting them, there's some demons that start to pop up, some oni, 2020, so you kind of have to carry through that story, and they're still adding different storylines to the main plot as I speak. Now, I think we've all played side-scroller games like this before, but there's something nice and refreshing about the art style they used for it. It looks nice and updated, and I'm a huge anime fan, so this type of style in game, I locked onto it immediately, and it was a lot of fun. Right now, the entire game is available for download. There is a link right down below in the description, like there always is. You guys know where to find it. I even have a special code you can use. Ocean Oracle. If you redeem it in game, it'll give you some special bonuses to help you start off your game. Guys, it's a fun game. Give it a shot if you're interested in it. I do a lot of traveling personally, and I can't always take like handheld consoles or my PS5 with me, so having nice, fun mobile games is a must-have. And another thank you to Ninja Must Die for sponsoring the video. This was a very unique prop for me to make, and I know you guys are going to be super excited to see the results. So let's get back to that part of the video where I'm building it and do the big reveal, and I don't know, let's do a snap. I think it worked. I hope so. It's still a little tacky, but it's definitely drying quicker than the gloss white ever did. So I gotta be real careful about how I peel the tape off. It worked. It worked. I have a lot more to peel off, but it worked. I have the pattern up top. Yay! Oh, this is gonna look so cool. I have a lot more tape to peel. I'm glad this blue dried super quick. So I'm gonna get all this peeled off. I'm gonna have to use a razor to get some of these edges up, and then I can mask the entire handle back off, and I can start on the blue gradient. Neat. It looks surprisingly good. Oh my god. All right, so now we're gonna go upstairs and we're gonna take the other 3 paints, and I'm gonna try to start doing a gradient spray across it. I cannot mess this up at all. I just can't mess it up. So yeah, we're gonna see if we can pull this one off. Came out so good. Okay, I'm looking at it in the screen. You guys have no idea how bad I was stressing about this paint job. Now, if hindsight's 2020, I think I should have done the blue pattern after I did the gradient spray, because the top stripes do get a little lost in there. I do wish they were a darker blue, but I can't go and mask all of this back off. It'll look terrible. Yeah, please let me know down below, guys, what you think about the results of this. Did you learn something new about the masking process or painting process, or did you just like watching the video? Stressful it may have been, this was still a very fun project to make, and it definitely taught me something new as well. I do want to say one last big thank you to Ninja Must Die for sponsoring this build and this video. It was a lot of fun. So one last time, if you are interested in the game, make sure you go download it and use that code. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. You have a good day. Okay, so it's a few days before posting, and I'm gonna close out that narrative that I was talking about in terms of how these videos get made. So after sending them the initial draft and kind of a rough cut of the video, they came back with some notes. Hey, can you change this part, maybe talk about this in this section? Because this is a completely sponsored video, they do have control over most of the video in the sense of, they wanna make sure it's a good video for them. If it was just a sponsored plug, like, a 30-second ad, I would only send them that segment. They don't have any control over the rest of the video. But in this case, Ninja Must Die was sponsoring the entire video. So sent it back to them. They got me back a list, and they gave me some more footage from the game to put here. Could you change this? We actually updated the code in the video from the original one, and I make the necessary cuts, send it back to them, and hopefully they're happy with it, and we go live. So if you're seeing this little bit at the end of it, you've made it through the whole video, and maybe you've learned something new. So you guys take care.